Hi all, I'm with you again, teacher and saxophonist Andrei Stepanov, LuckySAX. As always, I'm glad to see each of you watching the 8th lesson of jazz improvisation for beginners on my YouTube channel. Don't forget to leave your questions and suggestions in the comments. I will try to answer each of you. At the beginning of the lesson, as always, let's remember what you managed to learn in previous lessons. You have learned such techniques as moving along the notes of a triad, moving along a scale, and pauses. All these examples were also successfully mastered by the students of our online course. I suggest you familiarize yourself with an example of a variation from Evgeny. Well done! Evgeny very successfully mastered the combination of movement along the notes of a triad and direct movement along the scale. As you may have noticed, Evgeny used our audio example consisting of chords of the 1st and 5th degrees. And today we will add a new chord, the chord of the 4th degree or subdominant. If the key of C major, the triad of the 4th degree consists of the notes F, A, C. In order not to burden you with repetitive material, I suggest you go through this new chord yourself, using all the studied types of durations in order to get a good feel for the new sound. If you get lost, don't be afraid and keep playing. Listen to the rhythm section. Jazz music often develops in sections or phrases of 2, 4, and 8 bars. At the beginning of a new section, drummer usually hit the cymbals. If the note you've played is not in the key, try to play semitone higher or lower, and this way you will catch the chord. In any case, the beginning of the next phrase is not far. So let's start practicing the 4th degree chord. Great! You are great! Now I propose to work through various techniques with the 4th chord, using techniques such as pauses, movement along the notes of the triad, or direct movement through the scale based on our musical example. Great! So you have become acquainted with a new very important chord. I want to give you important advice. Play the right notes. Often musicians write themselves a sequence of modes and chords on a manuscript music paper. This is just a support for your thoughts. They don't give you musical ideas that come only from your imagination. What this really means is to play the notes that you hear in your inner ear, the notes that you could sing. However, if you learn the scales, chords, and memorize the harmonic series, this will give you imagination, a certain head start. Your creativity will become more natural because fear will go away. You can write out a solo transcription for yourself. It will greatly help you in creating a solid foundation from which you can build. This method, by the way, helped our young jazzman Vitaly. I suggest you listen to one of his improvisation options right now. Great job, Vitaly! Your steps are becoming more and more confident. By the way, any of you can join our jazz improvisation course for beginners using the link in the description of the video. But let's think about how else we can diversify our melody. We should remember that music largely repeats human speech. Just like with pauses, we have voice intonation, which we use in different ways when asking something or answering a question. Question and answer is a musical technique that has been used for centuries. It consists in the fact that the first musical phrase is a question, whether one musician or group of musicians is playing or singing, and then follows the answer, which is played or sung by another musician or group of musicians. The answer usually echoes the initial phrase. It complements it and at the same time, on the contrary, contrasts with it. A musical dialogue arises that attracts the listener's attention and arouses interest in the music. Let me show you a possible sound example. The question and answer technique is an integral part of music of all genres, including live rock music, orchestral music, electronic dance music, and even hip-hop. It adds dynamics and interest to the music, making it more fun and exciting for the listener. This technique also allows musicians to demonstrate their skill by responding to each other's phrases, creating a musical conversation. Let me change our answer, and the phrase will immediately stop looking like a dialogue. Did you hear it? The phrase immediately became different. Using the question-answer technique to create music requires creativity and skill. The question phrase is a musical phrase that will sound first. It should be simple and memorable, as it will set the tone for the rest of the musical dialogue. You can create a question phrase using even just one or two sounds, but unusual, interesting, and attention-grabbing ones. The response phrase is the second musical phrase. It must have something in common with the question phrase to maintain the overall context. And at the same time, it should be different, create a contrast with the phrase of the question. Today, your homework will be practice this technique. I will send examples with questions to the course participants, and I will be waiting for your records with answers from you. By the way, here is another homework from the students of the course, a video from Anastasia. I invite you to listen and evaluate her progress in improvisation. At the end of the lesson, I want to give you important advice. Music is characterized by repeatments and sequences. They can be heard in all styles and types of music. A novice improviser often thinks that if he repeats his idea, everyone will immediately notice it. Besides, it's not original enough and does not satisfy the improviser's egoism. It is not right. Listeners need repetitions and sequences. Otherwise, they will not be able to understand and remember anything. Repetitions and sequences are the glue that holds a solo together and make it cohesive. Usually a phrase should be repeated 2 or 3 times, and your intuition will tell you whether to repeat it literally or make it part of a sequence. Don't forget to listen and analyze the improvisations of jazz stars. Today, in the description of the video, I left a list of jazz clarinetists. Listen to at least one composition of each of them. Don't be afraid to experiment and be the creator of your own music. Subscribe the channel so as not to miss the new episode of our jazz improvisation course for beginners. Bye everyone!